Hello and welcome everyone to something we're doing. Welcome to the recap of the Cal Golden Bears first football game versus Oregon State. A dominating 34-15 victory over the Beavers up in Corvallis, up in Oregon, and the Bears start the season 1-0. Look at that. Cal football is 1-0, and to be fair, a lot of people had speculated this game was looking like a Cal victory, even though the odds were a little funky. From seeing people on the ground, it definitely seemed that the Cal program was a little closed off this off season, so you didn't really know what to expect. And oh boy, did we get a lot of things with Cal football, especially. And okay, here we go. Here we go. The emergence of new quarterback number one, true freshman. Let me make sure. Let's get it. Um, Jaron-Keawe Sagapolutele, with his first collegiate start, true freshman transfer, which is one of the funniest statements you could ever say. Out of Hawaii, he was a 5-star recruit, the number one, I think, passing yards player ever to come out of Hawaii. And it took him, I think, about 10 minutes. I was covering the Oakland Roots game at the Oakland Coliseum, and we had the Cal game up in the press box. And it took me about a drive and a half to be like, oh, Cal got it. Cal got a quarterback. And then it continued to where the point of, this is the best, and this is probably not a very shocking statement, but this is the best young quarterback since Jared Goff. He is instantly, and this is probably too much to put on a young kid, but he's instantly in the category of, what do you do now? Because there was not a pessimistic, but a lot of people were like, maybe they'll win 7 games, maybe they'll win 6. Ron Rivera, the new general manager of the program, was like, hey, we're looking to win 8 or 9 this year, but you really didn't know where they were going to end up. And with and I'm going to try and not say JKS, with Sagapolutele, the sky's the limit. And a lot of people, and I want to put this out right away. A lot of people on Twitter and social media immediately were like, "Well, Cal's going to have him for 1 year." Okay, and if that's the case, that's the case. But you've got, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, at least 11 more games, probably 12 with a bowl game, where he's your starting quarterback. And everything that happens this year will determine if he will be staying in the future, but you have him now. And that's why I'm so excited for this program, is to see where they can go with him, what you can do, because it was astronomically clear. Just like, it was crystal clear that he is of that ilk. He is ready. Other things to keep in mind: Oregon State is now, because they are no longer Power 5. Could Oregon State be bad this year? Like, very bad this year? Maybe. The 34-15 score was not as close as it seems, especially after Cal had the interception that turned into a return to the 2-yard line. Overall, it was an absolute battering. Cal's offensive line did not give up a sack, which a new offensive line coach, and a bunch of their NIL money this year was spent on the Hogs in the offensive line in the trenches. And that is so, I cannot stress how important that is. Yes, you want to get Jaron some weapons eventually, but I like some of their wide receivers. I do need them to catch the ball. There's probably about 3 or 4 clear deep bomb threat plays that wide receivers just need to catch at the college level. But it's week 1, and the amount of excitement that I've seen from the Cal fans, and just the energy. And I know that comes with Cal Twitter and all that good fun stuff, but there's an energy I haven't seen since the Goff days, where everyone is there's a like electricity in the air. People want to go. People are talking about Cal national. That it's not just oh Cal's there. Unlike during the air raid times where it was just like oh Cal's going to put up 50 points, but they'll lose 56-50. This team could be fun. This team could be really fun, and I'm really excited to see what Sagapolutele and Wilcox and this team put together. Because let me see if I can bring up the schedule here for you guys. Um, I'm throwing it down. Technical difficulties. Whoop. We'll go with this. So let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. That's fantastic. So let's talk about what's upcoming, because Cal does not play Miami. Cal does not play Florida State. Cal does not play Pittsburgh, even though that's a weird game. But I'm talking, but at least from like it does not play Clemson, especially in the ACC. Cal has, I can see the vision of people who are expecting a lot from this team. So like Texas Southern, if this is not, Jaron is not playing, like he'll be taken out at halftime and they should be up 45-7. And if they're not, things have gone awfully wrong. Minnesota, an Astron, like this is the barometer for me is Minnesota. Because there's a lot of other games where you're like, I don't really know what to expect, but Minnesota is a quality program. It's at home. They're going to be funky to play against. They're never quit. It's going to be a grimier game versus Minnesota. And if they can pull off the Minnesota game and go 3-0, maybe 4-0 after San Diego, and they're going into that Boston College game, or especially that Duke game, Duke and North Carolina are the key ones. Because if they have one loss going into Duke or North Carolina, this team's going to get a lot of national attention. I'm not saying this team is going to be like that's competing for an ACC championship game, because I do believe Clemson, I do believe SMU, Louisville, I guess Florida State now are probably better teams as of right now, but you have the crown jewel. You have Sagapolutele, and you gonna see what he is capable of doing, especially because a good example is kind of Vanderbilt, where Vanderbilt had their win last year against Alabama. They proved that, hey, we may not be the best, but we're good enough not to lose our talent. And they kept their quarterback, and they're trying to build something. Cal needs to prove to, and it's to every other transfer in the country, hey, Cal is the place to be because we have this gem. We have the crown. We have the king. We have King Jaron. He is going to be the Pirate King of the ACC. To see what you can put around him, if you can keep him. And that's not a guarantee that you'll keep him. And especially if they, let's say, lose to SMU, lose to Louisville, lose to North Carolina, Duke, Minnesota, and they finish the year. Sorry, 12 games. So let's say they finish 6-6 or 7-5, which is like for a Cal team usually pretty okay. Like you're okay with this. But that probably doesn't keep you from some just like oil money coming in. Though people will say this. Cal is in a new era where it seems that with Ron Rivera, there's boosters. Like Cal has money. Cal has tech money. Cal has people who want Cal to be good at football and other sports. Keep in mind, basketball, especially baseball, rugby. That there is money to be had. I'm not actually that worried about a money amount. for like, oh, NIL, like, oh, you have to get $7 million. I'm throwing out things that are not true at all, but like one of those stereotypical, just like give a cartoonish sized bag to an 18-year-old from Hawaii. Um, the biggest thing I think is, can you prove that Cal is going to take that next step where next year's team is the one that is competing for an ACC championship. The next year's team is the one who can get the massive wide receiver transfers. They can get people being like, I want to play for Cal. I want to transfer to Cal because I see the vision. I see what he can lead this team towards. And is this a lot to put on a kid who's now played exactly one college game? Yes. But I think we all saw in that game where some of those throws, there's some backup quarterbacks in the NFL that aren't making that move. He doesn't have the body yet for a backup, like for an NFL quarterback, and he'll get there eventually. But he has that arm, and it's hard to teach an arm that good. And it is stunningly beautiful. There was a couple, and I think it was Dieter Kurtebach of the Bay Area News Group, and then he's a local columnist in the Bay Area, put it. He had 3 or 4 throws that just makes you sit at your chair while you're watching a game, and you're just like giggling like a schoolgirl because you're like, oh, you don't see those throws. And that's on the road on his first couple of drives in college football. That's special. Like, and I don't want to say this as a whole thing only about Sagapolutele. I think I'm pronouncing that correct, but I think it's slightly off. I'm trying to work on it fully, much better than a lot of the other Bay Area media. I'm gonna try. But Texas Southern should be a win. Minnesota's a coin flip. San Diego should be very Oregon State like, where it should be the talent disparity should be a thing, but you never know on the road. Boston College going to the East Coast trip versus probably an underrated Boston College team. That one's probably, there's a tough stretch between on the road to Boston College, Duke, and then the Gold Diggers of North Carolina and Bill Belichick, which is probably the weirdest sentence you could come up with college football right now. And I'm excited to hopefully be at that game. That's going to be a weird game. Friday night, it's just funky monkey, brother. And then you end the season. SMU is probably just like that. That's gonna be a tough one. But if you beat Stanford, if you go 8-6, 8-4, my bad, 8-4, you get a nice bowl game. That's building. That's unironically, like I truly believe this could be the start of something special, especially for a coaching staff that needs to win this year. Because if the things don't happen this year, there will be changes in Berkeley. I think it's year 9. They have committed money towards the football team. Ron Rivera, they finally got rid of the athletic director who just did not care. Ron Boat, he is just pushing the ship forward. And I'm excited to see what he can do. Let me see if I can bring up some other things that I noticed. So, I'm also going to butcher this name. I'm going to I'm really bad with names, but pronunciations, but I'll try. Grizel, wide receiver, had 5 catches for 83 and a touchdown. He was actually really, really nice. He's one of the players that was on last year's team and came back. He probably could have transferred, and speaking of transfers, a whole bunch of the Cal transfers did not do well, the ones who went out of the program. But he's decided to stay in, and he's being rewarded for that. And he seems to be a at least very serviceable weapon in this offense, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Running, like, it could be a little bit better. Oregon State's defense was known for being, I believe, relatively decent when it came to run, kind of stopping the run, plugging those gaps. But you get like 160, I think, total-ish. No, that's way less. They did okay as a running unit. I'd like to see a little bit more. This is definitely a downgrade from the talent of last year's teams, though I do think the offensive line is a lot better than last year's team, and that is going to be very, very key to see where they go. Um, the other thing that was nice to see is I believe um, Barry adjacent. Let me pull up. Whoop. Barry adjacent player Jacob De Jesus, who is a receiver, but also he's a UNLV transfer from. He's like a specialist, more like a kick and punt returner. I think he's actually quite nice little weapon. He is a Barry adjacent. He's from Manteca. I think I actually covered one of his games back in high school versus American Canyon. I'll have to double check that one. But overall, I like the weapon he brings. Cal was able to make their kicks, which they've struggled over the last few years, and he was able to at least give them some strong starting field position on multiple attempts. And that's something Cal just hasn't had over the last few years. And I'm really excited to see, yes, I got to always stress this. It was versus Oregon State, who now, let me see if I can bring up the Oregon State schedule 1 second here. Because I don't think it's pretty. I think it's actually quite rough. Yeah, like Oregon State here. Hold. Oregon State. Oregon State here plays against Fresno State. If they want to have a lot of wins this year, you have to win that game for Oregon State. Yes, this is going to be a Cal thing, but I'm just talking about this could be an ugly season because, like, Houston, probably pretty good. Texas Tech, pretty good. Oregon, rough. Now it gets a little funkier down here where you're playing Washington State twice, Lafayette, Sam Houston, Tulsa. It gets a lot easier, but this part right here is going to be rough. Rough. But back to Cal, back to things that matter right now. I like what I'm seeing. Texas Southern should just be, hey, can you guys stay healthy, not lose anyone? But Sagapolutele is, I fully believe, is going to lead this team into a golden era. And it could just be a golden era that's just this 1 year, and it's going to be just like a meteor that just kind of goes, and you're like, damn, in 15 years, do you remember that one season of the absolute most electric football you've ever seen out of Cal football? And it could be. It could also be the beginning of a 3-year reign where Cal is the place to be, especially for people looking for teams like the Raiders left, the A's have left. Technically, the Warriors left, though it is just across the bay. I don't count that one as much, but for the East Bay, they left. Cal football can be an avenue for them. And I think it could be a really fun avenue. I'm planning on being at almost every single game this year, especially on some of the watch parties. I'm looking to expand my coverage of all Cal sports, but especially football, especially for these videos. So let me know your questions. Was this a mirage, or is this Cal team for real? Is Jaron-Keawe Sagapolutele, is he the truth? Or are we overhyping him just a little too much? If you have any questions for this team, for me, for anything, comment down below. And I'll see you guys all next week after Texas Southern. And hopefully, we'll see if Cal will be 2-0. See you then, everyone. Bye.